Welcome to Warhammer 40k in the Bible, where I take Warhammer 40k lore to help explain biblical lore. And today, on request, we're going to be talking about Ezekiel Abaddon, or Abaddon the Despoiler, and also the Destroyer in the Bible, who he is. Because this is what Abaddon means, is the Destroyer. Anyways, Abaddon, also known as Abaddon the Despoiler, once named Ezekiel Abaddon, whose preferred title is the War Master of the Imperium Nihilus, and is sometimes called by the others the War Master of Chaos, is a Chaos Lord and the greatest champion of Chaos Undivided in the galaxy. Abaddon is the master of the Black Legion, and as of course, we'll talk about the Black Legion at the end, because I do like to go from Warhammer, the Bible, and to Warhammer again for all the newcomers. Okay. Black Legion of Chaos Space Marines, and is rumored to be the clone progeny of the War Master Horus, the greatest traitor in Imperial history, and at one time his most favored son, as the first captain of the Sons of Horus Legion. So basically, Horus was his senpai, right? And he definitely, you know, was his hero, basically, right? But he also thinks he can do better than Horus as well. Okay. Abaddon is now Imperial history. Okay, and at one time the most favored son of the first captain and Sons of Horus Legion. Okay. Abaddon is now infamous for leading Black Crusades, the terrible military campaigns during which the normally fractious forces of chaos unite under his leadership and launch a massive attack against the Imperium from within the Eye of Terror. What few realized at the time was that these campaigns were part of an overall strategic plan called the Crimson Path, intended to lead the forces of chaos from the Eye of Terror all the way to Holy Terra itself, which reached its fruition in the final days of the 41st millennium. Abaddon intends to succeed where his predecessor Horus failed, breaking the Imperial Palace wide open and tearing the Emperor's rotting corpse from the Golden Throne. So we'll go over this real quick too. Over a millennia, each of his conquests in Black Crusades has gradually paved the way from the Eye of Terror towards a sol system. Did you hear that? Over a millennia, he's been planning, slowly chipping away at it, right? Despite this grand design often being oblivious to the Imperium's defenders, less obvious, however, is that along the path, his actions have gradually weakened the veil between real space and the warp, assisting the birth of the Great Rift after the successful conquest of the fortress world of Cadia during the 13th Black Crusade. Moment of silence. Okay. Sorry. And CA circa, I'm not sure if that's what it is, but 999 dot millennium 41. The birth of the Great Rift divided the galaxy in half and marked the start of the Noctis Aeterna and the Era Indomitus. You know what? Let's see. The Era Indomitus is also called the Age of the Dark Imperium. Is a name given to present period in the history of the Imperium man. It began with the destruction of Cadia by the forces of chaos in the 13th Black Crusade and the subsequent formation of the Great Rift across the galaxy. Okay. Alrighty. So, now we're going to get into the Bible stuff here. Okay, now of course we all know the Abaddon biblical thing here, right? So, Revelation 9:11 to 21. and they had a king over them, which is the angel, we need to pay attention to this, of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. So basically both of them mean the destroyer or, destruction, right? So one woe is past, and behold, there come two more hereafter. Actually, you know what? Let me see here. Okay. And the fifth angel's, hold on a second, guys. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. This is going to come into play here after these few verses I'm bringing up. And he opened the bottomless pit, and arose smoke. This is important too, right here. Out of the pit, as the smoke of the great furnace, and the sun and the air darkened in the reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out the smoke, locusts upon the earth. And unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither either green thing, neither tree, or any those men which have not the seal of God, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. So, God has a mark, and so does the beast. Interesting. But anyways, that's neither here or there. So, you got Apollyon. Now you got his horsemen that are like locusts. And we're going to get, here we go. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard a number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and jacinth, and brimstone, and heads of the horses were as the heads of lions. And out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these three was the third part of the men killed. Interesting. So by these three was the third part of men killed. Because remember in 2nd Esdras, we have the three-headed eagle. So interesting. By fire and smoke and brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So anyways. So you get the gist. It's basically Abaddon and his Black Legion, right? Is what I'm getting at there. But I want you to pay attention to the smoke, right, and the angel part. Because Isaiah 10:5 through 8. O Syrian. Remember? Now, of course, he's one of the three heads of the eagle, right? O Syrian, rod of mine anger, and staff in their hand is mine indignation. I will send him against a hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him charge, to take spoil, to take prey, to tread them down like the mire of the streets. Howbeit, he meaneth not so, neither doth his heart think so. Ready for this? But it is in his heart to destroy and cut off nations, not a few. For he has said, are not my princes altogether kings? Interesting. Let's go Isaiah 14. Now this is the Lucifer thing, right? So, Isaiah 14:25 through 32. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon my mountains tread him under foot. Then shall his yoke depart from off of them. Who? The world. And his burden depart from off their shoulders. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that stretcheth out upon all nations. What does 2nd Esdras say, right? With the three-headed eagle, that its wings came across all the whole earth, right? So, for the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, who shall turn it back? In the year King Ahaz died was this burden. Rejoice not, thou whole Palestina, because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent, now this is very important here, out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice. Ready? And his fruit shall be a fiery, flying serpent. Or you could say a phoenix. Maybe that's why the heads are eagles. But anyways, and the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. Here we go. Okay, let me get to the good part here. Howl, O gate. Interesting. Portal, gate is what it's talking about. Sometimes called the windows of heaven. Cry, O city, thou whole Palestina, art dissolved. For there shall come forth the north a smoke. And none shall be alone in his appointed times. What shall then answer the messengers of the nation? That the Lord hath founded Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it. So, let's keep going here. Ezekiel 31, 3 through 8. Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon, with fair branches, and with a shadowing shroud, and of a high stature, and on his top was among the thick boughs. The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high, with her rivers running around about his plants, and sent her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of the waters. When he shot forth, all the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under the branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations. Thus was he fair in his greatness, and the length of his branches and his root was by great waters. The cedars in the garden of God. So this isn't a human. This is an angel, right? The cedars in the garden of God could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches. Anyway, I'll explain that after. So, nor any tree of the garden of God was like unto him in his beauty. So, contrary to popular belief, okay, there's not just one Satan, there's 7 of them. We're yet 2 in the Bible, the Assyrian, and of course Satan himself. Now they're all seraphim, fiery serpents. That's why you see here the root of it will be a fiery serpent, which makes you wonder what. Anyways, that whole nother story. Anyways, interesting stuff. Now here's the Exodus. Okay, for the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians, and when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and on the 2 side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come into your house to smite you. Now, I want to show you. Okay, brimstone issue of the mouths. He's brought down to the pit. That's not there. I think it's in. It might be here. Nations. Where is it? Sorry, guys. Where is it? Might be. Let's see here. A little bit further down. Therefore saith God, because thou hast lifted thyself in height, among the thick boughs, and the hardest height, I have delivered him unto the hand of the mighty heathens to deal with him, driven out of weakness. Strangers of the terrible nations have cut him off. In the mountains and the valleys branches have fallen, boughs are broken by all the rivers and land, people of the earth, and I have left him. Okay, upon his ruin shall the fowls of heaven, the beasts of the field upon the branches. Here we go, okay. To the end of none of all the trees, but the waters exalt themselves with their height, neither shoot up there among the boughs. Okay, let's get to the important part here. Okay, for they are all delivered unto death, to the nether parts of the earth, in the midst of the children of men, with them that go down to the pit. Here he is coming up out of the pit. He had a king over them, angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue, Abaddon. So, there is the destroyer. So when you see Abaddon, think the Assyrian. Okay, now we're going to get into the Black Legion. Okay, the Black Legion, formerly known as the Sons of Horus, and before that as the Lunar Wolves. And look, I know the Assyrian, or Abaddon, he's not human, like Abaddon here, but that's the destroyer, Abaddon, in the Bible. Okay, anyways. Okay, the Black Legion, formerly known as the Sons of Horus, and before that as the Lunar Wolves, is a traitor legion of Chaos Space Marines that is the first in infamy, if not treachery, whose name resounds as a curse throughout the scattered and war-torn realms of humanity. The Black Legion was one of the 9 first founding legions of Space Marines who turned traitor to the Imperium during the Horus Heresy in the early 31st millennium. The Black Legion at that time, still known as the Sons of Horus, became the primary instrument of its Primarch, the War Master Horus, to overthrow the Emperor of Mankind and seize control of the Imperium in the name of Chaos. This is exactly what Satan and all these guys were doing, trying to overthrow God, right? So, and seize control of the Imperium in the name of Chaos. Such are the crimes of the Black Legion in the 41st millennium that it is easy to forget that the past was very different, and that there was a time when its Astartes and their perfidious master Horus were lauded above all the other warriors of the Legiones Astartes, and were considered the most favored servants of the Emperor. Okay, born as the, 16th Space Marine Legion on Terra, the Black Legion would first rise to greatness under the name of the Lunar Wolves. Before the days of the Horus Heresy, they fought at the Emperor's side on Terra, and through the early years of the Great Crusade, they were a stalwart and indefatigable. I have no idea how to say that. Indefatigable. Okay, I'm done. Anyways, you guys can read that there. Oops. Whatever that is. Okay. As any of the servants of the Emperor and their actions exemplified what it meant to be a warrior of the Space Marine Legions. Alright, guys. That is Abaddon the Despoiler and Abaddon in the Bible. Now you guys know who the Destroyer is. So when God says anything about the Destroyer, or the Bible says anything like that, you know that it's the Assyrian. And why doesn't the church say anything about it? Right? Is another question. Or anything that I bring up here, It's ridiculous, but before I get off in a tangent, thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.